Yep. Okay, morning everyone. Welcome to our new vlog. Come a bit closer, Liz, so I don't have to yell. This is a video about our chiminea. This one in particular is made in Australia. It's from a company called Aussie heatwave chimeneas. That weighs about 100 kilo. I think it's 95 kilo it weighs, so it's pretty heavy. We got it second hand from a Facebook marketplace. Quite pricey, I believe that's worth, at the moment it's on special, they're about 1,600 bucks. So we didn't pay that much for it. This one's actually like 20 years old, and it's got a little, but it's as good as new. I reckon they just last a lifetime. They last a long time. So what we're going to show you today is some of the benefits to having this. Some of the attachments that can go with it. We've got some of the attachments, not all of them. There's other things that you can buy. We're going to get a fire going in there. I had a fire going in it last week, and but if you come down here, I'll just show you something. They reckon what you should have is like a white sand, like playground sand, like a children's playground sand. You can get that from Bunnings. And you have that up to about that level. So it takes around about somewhere between like 10 and 15 kilograms of sand that'll take. Goes up to that level there, the same level as what that ring is that goes around there. And then what you have is we put bricks. There's different ways of doing it, but we put 2 bricks in there so that creates airflow. So they're sitting on the sand, the bricks, and then the airflow will get underneath, and that'll give us a better chance of lighting the fire and keeping it going. The good thing about the sand is it's this part down here is not going to get really hot. It's like it's heat resistant, I guess you'd say, so the heat doesn't transfer very well through sand. And I'll get that fire started now, and then what we're going to be doing is cooking on this today, believe it or not, and I'll show you. It's quite interesting. We're going to try a few different things to cook on it. I want to try pizzas. We've bought some pork ribs. We've got some chicken drumettes. Just a few bits and pieces. We're going to do some jalapeno hoppers, I believe they're called. Jalapeno hoppers. We'll do a bit of variety, and we'll just try some different food out, see what it's like to cook. And hopefully we can teach you a little bit about this, and you can learn from it, learn from our mistakes. No doubt we're going to make some mistakes. And yeah, so we'll button off. So 20 minutes has passed, got our fire going in there. Forgot if I actually possibly didn't mention that this is actually made of cast iron, so you probably worked that out when I told you it was 95 kilo, pretty heavy. But the good thing about it is, on a day like today, it's a bit cold today, you can get 360 degree heat that goes right around. You can feel it out here, and not so much now, but because it's only been 20 minutes, but within an hour, it's going to be really generating some good radiant heat from this thing. Pretty thick material, this. So it does take a bit of time for the heat to get through, but once it's through there, it pushes it out, and you can have people over and you can be sitting around, chairs, and just have the heat right around. It's really good. So I mentioned that we bought some little additions that go to it. This is one of them. Now, this here is a grill that we can use to cook, chicken satay strips, or, put your pork on, or whatever you want to do. And if you look at that there, that fits inside the flue of the chiminea. So that goes straight on top in there like that. Bang, done. Now, this is the first time I've used this, so we don't know how it's going to affect the flame. Right now, obviously it won't. It's still nice and open. It hasn't restricted any airflow or draw, so it's still drawing. You can hear it drawing. I can hear it. I'm not sure if you can from where you are, but that's that. Then this is the lid. Now this lid has a cutout there. And that fits inside this rectangular thing. Not on the outside, on the inside of it. Like so. And then Geez, my glasses are steamed up. And then that works like an oven. You know, like they reckon you can cook pizzas in there and everything. So we're going to give it a crack today. I made some nice dough that I've been making. I made myself a Polish dough, pizza dough, which has taken me 3 days to make. We're going to have a crack at that. As I said, we're going to do some pork, we're going to do some chicken in there, the jalapenos we'll do in there as well. And but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, that's actually got a bit of heat in there already, as you can imagine. Like, you can imagine the heat that's coming out of that fluid, a fair bit of heat coming out of that. It's going to be really interesting to see what sort of how well it cooks. I reckon it's going to be really versatile. It's almost going to be like our Weber-Q that we have, you know, like it's got lid and you can cook anything in there. Roast dinners, roast chooks, you know. But then, as I said, we're experimenting. We're going to make some mistakes, but I reckon you probably, if you were cooking a roast, you'd have to obviously less fuel in there. Cook it slower, just slow cooking. But if we're going to be cooking pizza, you want to have like a lot of fuel in there. I would imagine pizza needs to be cooked under a really high temperature. So you know, obviously you would just adjust that depending on what you're cooking up top. And I was saying before, I can feel the heat off there. It's really hot. But what I'm going to do is just see if these handles. Now those handles are stone. They're cold still, so that's a good thing to know. And so are they. They're still cold as well. So, you know, I'm gonna right now. They might get hot. I'll let you know as the day goes on. But for right now, I can actually lift that up and take it away, you know, and grill on it, because we don't want that on there if we're going to be cooking chicken, you know, satay skewers or whatever else, you know. Like you might be cooking a bit of steak on there. We've got some steak we're going to try out later as well. We've got a lot of food we're cooking today. Too much, but it won't go to waste. You know, we'll use it over the next few days. We just want to experiment with this, you know, and the benefit to this is we're going to have the benefit of cooking on this, but at the same time, we're going to keep warm throughout the day. So we've got a bit of wood there that's out of the rain, and yeah, that's it for now. So I'll show you the next step soon. Okay, so we're getting ready to cook our pizzas. This is our first part of our bloody feast. So what we've done, if you look at this, I'll lift this off so you can have a look. Hopefully I don't burn the eyebrows off. That's all right. Just put a pizza stone on there. Fits in there perfectly. And in the past, I don't know about people that make pizzas at home in the past, depending on how you want to make them. If you want to put your pizza directly on that stone, which is the best way of cooking, because it's crusty, you're going to get a nice undercarriage if you do it that way. It can be very hard to get it off the pizza peel. What I mean by a pizza peel is, this is a pizza peel, for those who don't know. You can look at me if you want. This is a pizza peel here. So actually getting the pizza, putting it on there, and then getting it off there, it makes a huge mess. You know, you end up with the ingredients slopping all over the place. So we're going to experiment and try something different. I'll put it on a pizza tray here. We're going to, I guess you call cook it part. Put it in there, on there, slide it in there like that. Once it's cooked through a little bit, then I'm going to take it off that and slide it back onto the second half of the cooking, directly onto the stone. So that's the idea. So what I'll do for now is I'll bang it in. What I've done actually, before I do that, it's my homegrown salami that I've made.
Homemade?
Yeah, homemade, not homegrown, but yeah, homemade. I've got a bit of mozzarella cheese on there. There's a local cheese factory around here that sells it. It's really nice. Not a lot of ingredients on there, a bit of salt and pepper, and you know, like with pizzas, less is more. So let's wish me luck. That's in there now. Have a look at the flame list that we've got, sort of fuel we've got down there at this stage. Now, if you look up here, you'll see there's a bit of smoke coming out of there. I think ideally you'd be better off having like a nice, real dry hardwood, and you're going to have less smoke. but I think ideally that's what you want. Ours is not, you know, look at the driest of hardwoods, so that's why I think we're experiencing a little bit more smoke. But that smoke that we're getting might be a good thing. I don't know. We'll
flavour.
Yeah, it might be give us some flavour. Now our pizza in there is looking alright. The dough's starting to rise nicely. Can you see it in there?
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. But it looks like it's going alright. And the good thing about it is I can actually get it. I can see my cheese is starting to melt, so I can actually get a view of what's happening. I can actually see it through here, what's happening, through that little opening there. And that'll give us an idea of what we, when it's ready, you know, which is a good thing. So, what we've been using is these welder's gloves, or, you know, whatever you call them, heat-resistant gloves, so that we can use these so we don't burn ourselves. So I'm going to use that now. These were getting hot. These are getting hot. I suppose that's to be expected. They are. It is still. Heat's going to transfer straight through it. And I haven't actually got to pull it out and check it really as such, that pizza, because I can see how it's looking. It's looking pretty good. Now, on our other pizza oven we've got a couple of pizza ovens. The one that we've got over there, we've got another wood pizza oven. It takes literally a couple of minutes to cook a whole pizza, so it's really quick. Quick is the more traditional way of cooking these sort of pizzas. This is going to be a bit slower, I believe. It looks like it's going to be slower. Well, it is going to be slower because, you know, I can tell. Now, I'm actually going to put that peel in there underneath my pizza tray. Pull it out. That looks pretty good. And see if I can get that on there, which I can, I think. And then put it on there directly now. I made a bit of a mess of that, but directly. No, that's not
use that to push it off that.
Sorry?
Use that to push it off that.
All right, let's have a go.
Turn it up.
Okay. No, hang on. This is not good. What I'll do is I'll put it back on there. No, this is a fucking model.
Real life.
No. What I've done is I've gone too early. Melissa, can you help me? Can you pause it for now? Right, ready? Back again.
3rd degree burns.
3rd degree burns on my hands. Now, I think it looks like I've taken it out prematurely. Let it cook in there a little bit longer. Quite a bit longer. Because it wasn't crisp enough, and it was hard to get off the peel again, which is a pain. We'll leave it on there longer. Yeah.
We'll come back to it in a sec, eh?
Yeah, we'll come back in a sec. Now, that there, I was worried that the pastry was a bit raw. I don't know, I rolled it out pretty thin, but look at that undercarriage. That is amazing.
You might want to watch Kimber licking her lips down there too.
Yeah. And I just had a bite of that. It tastes really nice. So, I wouldn't even say it was like a smoky. I was concerned that it might overpower the flavour of the pizza, the smoke. But the pizza base is really crispy. No,
What is it?
crispy. Probably, I would say it's almost better than the uni. Oh, that was little. But we'll get better at it. Well, I think it'll improve. Hope you can understand what I'm saying with a mouthful of food. This is going to get better. It's pretty good though. The undercarriage is.
Kim, no.
The undercarriage. And the book. I'm going to cook the rest of the pizzas. You don't have to see that unless I want to show you something special. I might show you some of that, but I might not. But then we're going to get on to cooking other stuff. You know, we've got some chicken we're going to be cooking up shortly, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right. Yep. It seems to be a bit better. So there we go. Yes, that worked out better.
Success.
So, didn't burn myself. Not that time anyway. The next part of this video, I'll be in emergency down at Austin Hospital, getting my third degree burns tended to. that's back now directly on that pizza stone, off there. That's actually come off pretty good. We did spray it. We gave it a bit of a spray. So when I'm pointing at something like that, it's good to actually,
sorry.
you know, like, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so we ended up cooking 4 pizzas. This is the results that we had. They're all very similar toppings on them. I didn't have too much ingredients, so I just sort of chucked on whatever we had. But my other pizza oven that I have, compared to these, they look, because the heat I think comes up from underneath as opposed to the flame on top of it, they look a bit different. And I would have thought that they were going to taste a bit smoky. Had a smoky flavour about them, you know, which is not ideal for pizzas, but it doesn't taste that like smoky at all. It actually is really nice. And the undercarriage on these, like, bloody
Cripsy.
really nice undercarriage. Not floppy, no floppage, you know, really, it's pretty bloody good.
No droopage? You don't want that?
No, so very happy with that. So this is the versatility we're about to demonstrate now. Now, I said earlier we've got plenty of food. We're going to try out some different stuff. We've just got some chickens. Put some chicken drumettes on there. $2.99 a kilo at our local butcher. They're on special at the minute, so $2.99 a kilo. You can't go wrong. Now, I reckon the chimney part is around there, and you can see by looking at the grill before we put the chicken on that it was actually hotter in that area. So I reckon these chickens out here are going to get bloody hot quick. Well, as you can see. So I think what we're better off doing
So's your hands.
Is almost, sorry?
So are your hands.
Yeah, is almost leaving that area exposed. Don't put meat directly on that. Just put it around it, because there's definitely cooking around, you know, as you can see here. There's cooking out here as well, in this section. But there's too hot for it, as you can see.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah, some people like it like that. Charcoal chicken. But, you know, I reckon that's, you know, if I was doing a pork belly, we'd have the hood back on it, put the pork belly in there, off to the side, if you got the small enough piece, excuse me, and then when you want to get it really crackling towards the end, I reckon you could just about put the skin down and stick it straight over that. Imagine the heat. It's going to crackle in about 5 minutes flat, I reckon. I'm just guessing. We're going to try that out too next time we get this fired up, which will be in another week or 2.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah. Next thing I do will be a pork belly, you know, with some pork crackling on it. But for mine, I don't like it, you know, like it's just got too quick, too hot, too quick in there. So I'll leave that bit there exposed, and then I think this chicken will cook at a good, you feel the heat in your hands, you know?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of heat around there. But, and then we'll just take our time cooking these, you know, like there's no rush. Cook them out here, no rush. And I think you got to move them around a bit, you know, like, yeah. I would say a downside to this is out here, you know, like, I'm getting a bit of heat out there. It is still cooking, but it's almost like you can't just leave it. You've got to be at it a bit, you know what I mean? Otherwise, if you just leave it and let it tend to itself, you'll find that you're going to end up with some burnt meat, I reckon. Another thing you can do is have less fuel down the bottom, and then obviously that'll help the situation. But so far I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. The pizzas were really nice, and
We may have a bit too much fuel in there.
too much fuel in there, yeah.
Probably.
So, you know, this is, as I said, I'm going to make some mistakes today, no doubt about it. You know, I've already burnt myself 3 times. No, I haven't burnt myself. I did burn myself once, a little bit. I can feel a little bit there. As long as it doesn't affect my golf. As long as I can still play golf tomorrow and win the competition, which is probably what normally happens. I normally win. And that's that. So we'll let them cook. Let them take their time. We're going to continue having our glasses. We've got glasses of mineral water we're having this morning. Still morning, we're here. And you know what? My legs, I can feel the heat, the radiant heat from this thing down here.
Yeah, you can.
My legs, I can feel it. They feel toasty as they're beautiful. So
On a cold winter's day, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we were saying how, you know, like we have burnt a bit of wood for cooking. You know, like my other pizza oven, I would use a lot less wood, so it's more efficient. But we're getting the benefit of heating ourselves up around this as well. So you know, yeah, everything's a compromise. And yeah, beautiful.
Yep.
All right, chickens turned out beautiful. They're lovely, very nice. That's the marinade. That marinade that we got on that chicken is the same stuff that we got on these pork ribs. So what I was thinking of doing with these is, I'm going to have at this stage, I'm going to, you know, there might be better ways of doing this. There probably is better ways of doing this. I'm not going to even spritz them at any time. There's going to be no. It's just a matter of me putting these got the dry rub on them. There's no binder in there, as in like a mustard sort of makes the dry rub stick to it or anything. It's just dry rub straight on the pork ribs. These are, I think they're called baby back ribs, these ones. There's a lot of more meat on them than there is than the New York style ribs. Or are they called New York or are they called American ribs?
American, I think.
Yeah, I think they are, yeah. So anyway, what we're thinking of doing is putting these directly over there. We've got the heat, there's plenty of heat there to cook with, but there's not much fuel in there, so that's what we want. I'm going to bang it on there. You'll hear that sizzle as it goes on, maybe. Even that one over there now for now, and I'll move them around a bit. And we're going to get them, char them up. Once they've sort of like got a bit of a colour on them, then we're going to wrap it in foil, put them back on there, put the hood back on, and just keep that down nice and low, cook it for hours. This is when you cook this sort of stuff, you've got to use your nose, you've got to smell the meat cooking, you know that it's cooking properly. So this is going to give us a bit of a smoky flavour, but it isn't going to be an extended period of time, so there might be a little bit of smokiness about it, which is okay, which is good with ribs, I suppose. Yeah, as it's cooking, we'll be sitting around here, having a glass of wine, maybe, and then we'll just smell it, and we'll know. And it'll take a few hours. We're expecting it's going to take quite a few hours to get them right, and then we'll get them open them up later on tonight and see what they taste like. No worries. But this has been on for about 20 minutes. All we really wanted to do is just give it a bit of colour, a bit of smokiness to it. There's still plenty of cooking to do. We didn't want to cook it on here for too long to dry it out, you know, like we've got a bit more cooking to do. If we leave it on it for too long, we thought we might dry it out. So, we're going to wrap it in foil. And what I'll do is I'm going to grab some more foil and do a couple of layers of that. And then, what was your uncle? Ribs wrapped in foil. We did a couple of layers of foil on each one. Put this on. Our fuel is down low, so we got, you know, like we can still feel the heat from out here. It's still keeping us warm, but there's not excessive amounts of heat like we needed when we made the pizzas. And if you look at the front there, you can just see them sitting in there quite happily. And I'm just as interested as anyone else to see how they turn out in a few hours' time. So, well, we'll come back in a few hours anyway. So, later in the day, and these ribs that we've just eaten weren't probably the best ribs I've ever had in my life, I must admit. They were a bit dry. I didn't spritz them. Possibly should have spritzed them. I don't know. But
and
anyway,
they've sat for an hour or so.
Sorry?
And they've sat for an hour or so.
Yeah, we wrapped them in the foil and we left them in the foil in the kitchen off the heat. But we did some bloody, I'll tell you what we did do. We did a satay chicken on skewers and they were magnificent. Just cook the chicken on the top, put the satay sauce on it while it was cooking in there, but there's more satay sauce that you dribble over the top. It was bloody ripper. It was really nice, magnificent. I can't complain about that. So anyway, I would suggest that is a huge hit, what we just did today. Have a look at the flames looking out the top of that thing. Hey, where'd they go? Oh,
because some fuckers put a paper plate in there.
Did you say fuckers? It's going to go on YouTube.
That's all right.
I mean, bloody Pergola's going to burn, but you know what? It's magnificent. So it was a hit, and we'll keep experimenting and we'll improve on things. But until then, I'll keep drinking beer. Until next time,
Button off.
button off.